guys, my name is KenYada and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk about hair type and your hair porosity and how it relates to keeping your hair moisturized. I first want to start by talking about a little bit about hair type. So in my opinion, if you watched like my last video, I kind of went a little bit into it, but I kind of wanted to touch on it a little bit more because I do not think it's important to know your hair type. To me, it just puts you in a box and it makes it seem like you can only do certain things based on that hair type, whether it's only using certain products or just feeling like certain hairstyles or certain products are off limits to you just because you're in said quote unquote hair type or hair category. Especially from what I've seen, if you look this information up, it's not concrete. Number one, you could be putting yourself in this box based on, say for example, you're like 4A like me, I'm not even in one category, number one. So that is like a problem that you could fall into multiple categories based on your hair type. Like the way and what they mean by hair type is just the way your curl forms. Like what type of curl do you have is how you get classified into these categories. And if you're looking at this picture and you think that your hair represents this curl and you're basing all of your decision on your hair journey based on this illusion that you're a part of this hair group, that you may be wrong. If you're anything like me, like I have the curls in the middle of my head versus the curls like on my edges and even in the back of my hair is all different. So I cannot be in one category. So it just really doesn't make sense to fixate so much on trying to figure out what hair type that you are a part of. Obviously, curls come in all different shapes and sizes, and you most definitely have a texture. Like there are different hair textures. You know, we know there's like a kinky curl, there's wavy curls, there's coils, there's all these different type of curls. And you'll see that mentioned on products more than you see hair types mentioned on products because, as I've stated before, it's just really not that deep. And I think for all the new naturals out there, we are losing people who want to start their natural hair journey before they even begin because they feel like they can't even get started because they don't know what hair type they fall into. And if it was that easy to figure it out, like based on these charts, people wouldn't be confused. You wouldn't feel like it would just be clear cut. That's a problem too. Like why try to categorize everyone if it's not clean cut? Like people look at these graphs, they look at these charts and they're still confused. They don't know where to start. It's just we're losing people and they feel like because they don't know their hair type that they'll never know how to manage or take care of their hair. So I absolutely say all of that to say that it is not important to know your hair type. What I do believe is important in relation to how to keep your hair moisturized, because I think that's the biggest thing here with everyone trying to go natural, to remain natural and not get frustrated. The biggest thing is I don't know how to keep my hair moisturized. And can you wholeheartedly say that based on the fact that you know your hair type, that it helps you keep your hair moisturized? You've just figured out all the answers on your hair journey just because you know your hair type? I don't think so, because I don't think based off what I believe is my hair type helps me to understand my hair or even helps me to understand how to keep my hair moisturized. What I do believe helps to keep your hair moisturized is understanding your hair porosity. And that just means how your hair absorbs and retains moisture. There's so much literature on the internet and blogs, you know, YouTube videos as you're watching right now that detail what hair porosity is. It can definitely fall into 3 different categories, but I don't want us to get caught up on that. Like you can really figure this out by studying your own hair. It's not really even about the terminology, but if we were to go into it, if you have low porosity hair, that just means that your hair repels water. It does not retain it, and it means that you have to almost what I've noticed is when you apply products, it's not even about applying more of it. It's just when you begin your process, you really do need to make sure that your hair follicles are open, that the hair shaft is open and ready to receive that moisture, so that it doesn't feel like you are trying to cake on product and all it does is just sit on top of the hair. You need to make sure that it's actually penetrating the hair shaft. And I know that what helps for a lot of women is you're styling your hair. Obviously you're applying water, just to make sure that that is warm water, that, you know, it's not that it's burning hot, but that you are using warm water when you apply your products. And even if you're not on like a no heat journey, then even taking that extra step to, after you apply the products, to sit in a dryer for a little bit, just to make sure that your hair is receiving the products, that it's receiving the moisture. So that's the main thing you need to know about low porosity hair, is that just the aspect of heat is necessary to make sure that your hair is retaining moisture. If you're not with the whole, like I said, maybe like me, you're retaining from heat, then you can just make sure that you are applying your products using warm water. So also your hair can be defined as having medium to normal porosity hair, and that just means your hair is low maintenance. Like your hair retains moisture. You don't have to do extra tricks or take extra steps to make sure that whatever products you put in your hair, or when you apply water to your hair, that it remains there. So, you know, it's not much to say about that category because you have normal porosity. But if you are on the other end where you have high porosity hair, that just means that your hair, just as quick as it absorbs moisture, it loses moisture. That's me. Like, I definitely have high porosity hair because I have to apply a lot of product, and to make sure that my hair is like, okay, I feel you, I see you there, and we're gonna absorb this moisture. And even so, like, it also just means that you need to apply a sealant to your hair. That last step, you have to seal in your moisture, which means either your butter or your cream. That's why, for me, butters and creams work better than gels, because gels are meant to be lightweight. Otherwise, they give you flakes, right? They give you flakes, you got crunch. It's just, it doesn't work. Because the more you apply a gel, which I have to apply so much product because that's the only way I know that my hair will retain the moisture. So butters and creams that act like sealants is what my hair needs to make sure that my hair retains moisture, or to apply a oil, a sealant oil, once you're done with your hair routine, to just make sure that you are packing it in there. With high porosity hair, it just means that your hair loses moisture quickly. Like, it absorbs it and then it's like, we're gone, unless you apply a lot of product or seal it in. So to me, understanding the way your hair absorbs and retains moisture is way more important than understanding a hair type that varies so much. So you definitely just want to make sure that you're more focused on that, because that seems to be, like, when I talk to my friends or when I talk to my line sisters, that seems to be the biggest issue. A lot of women are struggling to understand their hair and how to keep it moisturized. Like, no one wants to walk around with dry hair. Like, it's not fun. Like, it just, you know, you don't feel you're at your best. So to understand how to keep your hair moisturized, you got to understand how your hair retains moisture. It's all in the same thing. Nowhere in understanding hair types does that fit in. Like, I mean, if you just focus on, if you just feel like that does not make sense to you, and you're like, I don't understand why you feel like you don't need to know your hair type. Like, definitely know the texture of your hair, whether you have loose, like, if you have like curls like mine, like this is an actual curl, like my hair curls, or if it's a coil, or if it's just like a wave, like it doesn't even form a curl, it's just like, here we are, it's like very loose. Like, understanding that part of your hair, that's all you need to know. But as far as it being like, am I 2A, am I 4C, am I 3B, that is completely irrelevant. Or women, because a lot of women know that they're 4C or that they're 3A or 3B. Like, you can ask them that and they'll know it, but still are struggling to maintain and grow their hair. So if it was something that was need to know, to help with your journey, then so many people would not be struggling with their journey. They would have all the answers because they know their hair type and they look up that information and it tells them everything they need to know. It doesn't. All it does is cause more confusion for the new natural or even someone who's been natural for years. So if you are a woman who is struggling to figure out how to keep your hair moisturized, try to understand the way your hair absorbs moisture. Start there. There's actually a hair porosity test where you just put you take a strand of your hair and you put it in room temperature water, right? Because that's what this is all about, understanding how your hair reacts to water. And you just watch to see what it does. If it just sinks to the bottom of the glass, then you have high porosity hair like me. If it gradually sinks, then you have normal to medium porosity. Or if it just sits at the top because it's repelling the water, then you have low porosity hair. Like, if you want to take the time to do that, by all means, but there is plenty of information out there for you to understand how your hair absorbs moisture. That's where you need to start to understand how to keep your hair moisturized. Okay guys, I'm going to conclude this video here. I really hope that this was a helpful video in trying to understand how to keep your hair moisturized. If you're not already, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!